Hello, my beautiful and lovely gamers. My name is Jonal, and today we're going over some of the biggest or more reoccurring mistakes that I see in lower ranks. And for lower ranks, I mean, the lower ends of diamond and all the way down to bronze. It's everything in that area. And I'm not talking about aim, I'm talking about stuff that people do in these ranks, which occur majorly in all of them, which will hopefully help you guys improve your gameplay. Because even though I come with a lot of advice on how to rank up and how to play, these are some of some of these are smaller mistakes, some of these are bigger mistakes. So in general, let's just jump right into it. And the first is the biggest mistake that I see a lot. That is people is using their ultimates too late. And essentially why you should use it earlier essentially is you want to start using your ultimates a lot of time before the enemy does. If you do that, you'll a lot of time when this goes mostly for tank ultimates and some DPS ultimates that you want to fire them first. And what you can think about it is, if the enemy team gravitons and dragon strikes your team, you guys don't want to ult. And then if next fight the enemy Ryan earth shatters your team before anyone else, you don't want to ult again because you already lost so many players, so using your ultimate seems like a waste. And this is an easy way to stagger and ruin someone's ult economy. Essentially by, okay, we'll ult first, we'll wipe, they won't use anything, okay, and we know they have the same ultimate as us, okay, now we'll use another ult comp, we'll wipe, they won't really use anything, and then, okay, now that we have 1-2 team fights, they will use one ult wave on us, we will wipe, but we have already built the ultimate combo that we first used all over again, and then we'll reuse that one, and then we'll wipe them again. And now they've had, for example, their Earth Shadow combo for like 4 team fights in a row. So using this is an easy way to also stagger people so the enemy team's ults and really, really ruin their ult economy. We see it sometimes done in pro play, but majority of the time the pros know how to commit with their ultimates and when not to. The other one is press tab or whatever you have it hotkey to, essentially checking the scoreboard or whatever it's called, checking your team. And this is normally used because one, you can check what ultimates you guys have ready at the moment, which is actually very important. I see a lot of people not checking what ultimates their team have or anything like that. So it's actually very important to know what ultimates your team have. And it's also very nice because you can always see what the enemy team has, especially early when the engagement is starting and you have seen some of the enemy team, you press tab, and as soon as the entire roster revealed, you see they have Widowmaker. Okay, cool. Now I know they have a Widow, so I'll make sure to to watch out that I don't get headshotted, or if your Widow maker yourself, you'll counter sniper or something like that. And it's very important to do this because a lot of time, but this is a strategy, a legit strategy used in lower rank team games, where you can a lot of time swap off some of your heroes. For example, you can swap to a Junkrat and a Reaper after running a low DPS comp, and then you can just rush because it didn't check. Same, you can just randomly sometimes swap to a Widow in lower ranked games. And if you're a really good Widow, they won't expect a Widow, and all of a sudden you pop 2-3 headshots, and it's good. And this is something that I think even masters and GMs should really start pressing their tab key more and checking what the enemy team has at their roster and what ultimates your own team have. Then comes one of the mistakes that I actually was made aware of by one of my team members a long time ago, and that is that a lot of people, when they're not doing anything, when they're just walking around, they look at the ground. They put their crosshair on their feet instead of actually aiming higher, which does actually sometimes put your aim off. What you want, of course, is to have the crosshair nice and high around chest, head height, right? So it's closer to the hitbox that you want to hit, so that you don't have to bring it up from the ground and then all the way up to the enemy head when you want to shoot them. So making sure that you look up instead of looking down on the ground and looking at your feet is actually a great way of improving your accuracy, and especially your headshot accuracy, which a lot of people don't do. And even though some people can with ease learn muscle memory, so aiming is very, very individual. So of course some people can be used to, I'll just be used to running around looking at the ground, but a lot of you should really think about making sure that you defaultly put your crosshair higher so you have faster or better aim and can land more headshots. And if you really want to learn how to do this, you might want to take a look at Rainbow Six Siege. It's a game where you have to land headshots, since headshots is a one shot kill no matter what you hit them with. So by playing Rainbow Six Siege, a lot of time you get forced to learn how to aim and aim it at a head height at all times. Then I come to this really point that I find very irritating when happening, and especially when I was ranking up Lightstorm from Platinum, I saw this happening especially a lot in Platinum. That a lot of people are standing still when they're not doing anything. And they're just standing still on the cart when they're pushing it, not strafing, not moving, not doing anything. They're standing still if they're just healing someone and they're behind a wall, they think they're safe. And standing still it goes for their hit scats, it goes for their support players, it goes for some of their tanks. While, you know, as to a certain extent, some tanks can do it, like when the Reinhardt has his shield up, a lot of time he won't strafe because, you know, that'll, you know, peak corners for him. But a lot of time by standing still, you make yourself an easy target. And if you are in, let's just say gold, if you're in gold and you cannot always strafe, if you don't have the mind capacity to, when you're pushing a card, that you move around on the card as Mercy or whatever you're playing, if that is something that you cannot do, then you don't really belong in any higher ranks. Because if you, it's about the fact that you should always be doing something, you should always be maximizing it, and randomly getting headshotted is legit what's going to lose you some of those matches and really ruin your those clutch matches, the matches that are really close. The fact that someone stands still and the Tracer manages to stock a pulse bomb to it, or one mag you, or a headshot you as a DPS, or whatever it is really losing you at least some of the matches. And you should always be able mechanically and be used to mechanically that you're always moving, you're always doing something, you're always positioning yourself. You should always be doing something and not standing still on the cut. Then you could just be emoting while you're at it. And then we talk about spamming, and spamming is essentially what happens a lot of time when people get really desperate. I see it a lot in DPSs that people just like, oh shit, I need to kill someone, so I'll just burn every single ability that I have with no thought to it. I'll just throw my flashbang and Fanta Hammer and combat roll and Fanta Hammer, or shoot something random, and I'll just stash and deflect and right click spam shurikens, right? Take your time, a lot of time to aim with someone like Hanzo, Widowmaker, McCree. Sometimes just take you that extra little time to breathe, aim, and then shoot and then hit your target instead of just spamming towards them. Because a lot of people do this when they choke or when they get stressed out. A lot of times they just start burning everything they have, and you need to be very, very controlled. Always have a reason to use an ability. You should always have a reasoning behind it, and saying, you know, I thought it was gonna hit, or something like that, or I got overwhelmed, so I just throw out my flashbang to see if I could stun something. That is not a good argument. It should be, I threw the flashbang to try to stun the Tracer. If the Tracer got battled by the Sorry, that's fine, but if you threw, of course, out of range, then that's a mechanical mistake. But essentially, make sure that you calm down, especially with your aiming, that you take your time, and then fire a shot, and then rather hit the shot instead of just spamming and choking, because that happens a lot when you see these like a Mercy 1v1ing the Hanzo, because the Hanzo is choking so much that he doesn't want that to the Mercy, that he just spams arrows and misses every single shot on very easy strafing targets. Then I'm actually going to give you the biggest tip, or well, not the biggest, but a little bonus tip, since this was a top 5. But I also just remembered right now one of the tips that I wanted to put on the list, but forgot to, and I replaced it with one of the others. So that is jumping. Just running around when you're running from spawn, especially if they have a hand or something. And this goes a little bit with the fact that the same as standing still. A lot of time when you're running for spawn, you don't strafe. But if you jump, it actually makes you a little bit harder to hit, especially your feet. You kind of get scatter arrowed randomly. So just running around, jumping. And every time you move, you just jump a little bit, you jump a little bit here, you jump a little bit there. It does do something to your mechanical, make it a little bit harder to hit. And it also puts you again in that mindset that you're always doing something, okay? You're not just running a straight line for spawn, you're running and you're jumping, and you know, you're checking out, and when you're pushing the cart, you're jumping around on the cart and running around on the cart. When you're doing something, you're always doing at least something to try to be a little bit evasive. And you're always looking around with your camera, always being aware of the game. That will put you in a better and more competitive mindset, and will actually help you a lot just mentally to actually play the game on a higher level and really utilize all of your skills. I really hope that you guys liked this video, and if you didn't like, and share it, that would always be nice so more people can learn about this. I don't know where you would share it, but share it somewhere, that would be nice, so a lot more people can get used to not doing these mistakes, and hopefully you guys like it. Join the Discord community, follow me on Twitch. I stream at 8 PM almost every day except Tuesdays and Thursday. I even think 8 PM today, that's Norwegian time, I will also be streaming. All of those linked down in the description, including my Twitter, so definitely at least join the Discord community, say hi to us, say hi to the mods, and I hope you guys have a lovely gaming experience. My name has been Jonal, stay positive guys, and keep the enemy in your crosshair.